Welcome to another episode of the Rock Fantasy Files, St. Patrick's Day edition, honoring the great Thin Lizzy on Scott Gorham's 70th birthday. It's all coming together. And tonight I've asked our panel to pick out their favorite 3 Thin Lizzy studio albums. And also, if they have a question or two for our very special guest tonight, Vivian Campbell from, of course, Thin Lizzy, Def Leppard, Dio. Over the years, he's played in a bunch of great bands, and what an honor to have him on the show tonight. And we also have Ricky Warwick from just put out a studio album, solo album, Black Star Riders, and some other projects that he's been in over the years. And this episode was put together by our good friend Andrew Freeman. So there he is. Ricky, you just released a brand new album, When Life Was Hard and Fast. It was released in February via Nuclear Blast Records. And I took a listen to it today. I thought it was very good. And just watching the video, I really enjoy I'm an auto racing fan, so I really enjoyed some of that really old footage of the cars racing and everything you had.
Right on. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, and, I'm very proud of it. It's been out about a month now, and it's doing okay, I just wish I could be on the road touring it, but like everybody else, but c'est la vie, I'm just happy it's out and it's been well received, and yeah.
Excellent.
I like seeing Adam Parsons as your drummer. That was my favorite part.
How cool was that, man?
It was like I'm watching a video and I was like, is that Adam? What the fuck is
that? Man, I'm gonna take full credit for it, because how hard Adam works, and he's a drummer, and he's fanatic about drums. I got him to play on one track on the album. It's a Mink DeVille track. It was a cover version, and he nailed it. And we were doing the video. It was COVID was going on. We're out in the desert. I said, bro, just come and play drums. And he's now got his passion back. He's playing again, and he's into it. And
right,
it's good for him. Lost a bunch of weight. Looks good playing. It's great.
It's good way to keep your manager working for you too.
Right, exactly. You said that, I didn't.
Yeah, well, our manager's Steve Strange, so I feel your pain. So it's
well, we know Stevie. Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. All right, sorry guys, I'll shut up now.
And then on our panel tonight, we've got Robin Amazing Mason from the band Gruesome and Derkata, manager of Exodus Testament. We got Denny Barth from up in Vancouver, big hockey fan and helps us out with the channel, and also the founder and warrior from the thrash metal band Aggression from back in the day. And we've got Butch Jones here from the Butcher Shop and from the Sea of Tranquility, and one of the guests every week on the Hudson Valley Squares. And welcome everyone to the show. Andrew, do you want to kick this thing off?
Me? You want me to kick it off?
All
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I could. I can make an ass out of myself first. I'm kind of used to it. All right. So I'm going to start with number 3. This is number 3. And it's mostly because I love John Sykes. And I don't know if I love Snowy White, but I love the idea of Snowy White. So I have a tie for number 3. I love the idea of Snowy White. We'll go with that. So a tie for number 3 is Thunder and Lightning and Renegade.
Okay.
Just because I had Renegade on vinyl. It was the first Thin Lizzy record I ever owned, because, as we all know, they were not very popular in the US when we were younger and when they were happening. So I had that on vinyl, and I had a friend who I didn't really know much about the band when I was maybe 13, 14 years old. But I joined my brother's band, and they were all older guys. They were maybe, 5 years older than me. So I had this met this weird German guitar player. I know his name wasn't Michael Schenker. He fancy that. Right, exactly. Right. So met this weird German guitar player, and everybody around us was in the rock hair bands. Everybody was a Rat fan or a Bon Jovi fan or Judas Priest or whatever, the popular bands in the US at that time. And he brought over a couple of records when we first started jamming together, and one of them was Assault Attack by MSG, and he brought over Black Rose and Renegade, and what was the other one he brought? Doesn't matter. So he basically introduced me to UFO. He introduced me to more Euro metal stuff that I'd never heard before. So, and he knew all of it inside out. He was a Gary Moore fanatic. He was fanatical about Michael Schenker. So I got a whole nother lesson as a teenager, as an impressionable teenager from a very svelte German man about what rock and roll was. So it definitely gave me the contrast of, US metal, not so much the new wave of British heavy metal, but just what was happening over there at the time that wasn't getting heard here. And it was, oh, that's the Boys Are Back in Town band, oh, they do more than that, so I was able to, at a young age, figure out what was what. So those are my those are my number 3 record is those 2 albums, just because they're tied, because the first time I ever heard Thin Lizzy was besides Boys Are Back in Town, it was Snowy White was the guitar player. So, cool. And then John Sykes after that. So
Snowy was a weird fit with Thin Lizzy, that was a strange one. Well, first of all, Andrew, I'm amazed that you had a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like you never told me how many years have we known each other. I never knew you had a friend.
Yeah, well, we get drinking and things happen. People start talking about their feelings. We become friends. It is what it is.
Renegade. That's an interesting choice, actually. Yeah. That was good. I mean, Renegade was a big album with Lizzy for me. Not that anyone's asking. I'm just jumping right in.
No, that's what we do here. Jump in.
Because Sweet Savage opened for Lizzy on the Renegade tour. I'm sorry, my phone's going ballistic here.
I hear something digging.
That's pretty fucking rude. It's pretty fucking rude.
Because I have friends. I'm like Andrew.
Oh, please, that's all business.
I thought I was the only guy propping you up, Andy, but
who's texting you at 9 at night? Tell me that.
I can lend you some of mine if you want. I got a lot.
That's Uber Eats. Uber Eats is texting you right now. They're bringing an Indian over for you, aren't they? Yeah, they're bringing Indian food. I know they are. I know you do.
But anyway, so the Renegade album, it was Snowy White, but it was, I personally was very connected with Lizzy at that time because, number one, Sweet Savage opened for Lizzy on that tour in the UK and in Ireland. Sweet Savage had been my first band, for those who don't know. And number two, I knew that Snowy hated his gig. And so I knew that he wasn't going to be in the band much longer.
Right. I
really, really, really wanted to play with Thin Lizzy because I worship Thin Lizzy. And so I just thought, they're going to need a new guitar player soon. I'm here.
And I'm around.
And 30 years later, you got your chance.
30 years. So, but anyway, yeah, so it was strange. I mean, Hollywood Down in Your Luck, that was a great song. To me, that was a song off the record. Yeah, and it was great. The tour was amazing. They really kind of stepped up their production on that tour. I remember they had the lighting pods that came down from the lighting rig, and they had the truck drivers up there, but being that it was truck drivers, they never quite got the lighting cues correct. It's like, they light up the right guy, but at the wrong time, it was all but it was big. It was big tour. It was big time for the band. Chris Tangarides produced the record. He was a lovely, lovely guy. He's passed away since, unfortunately, but
the record starts strong though.
I'm sorry, say again, Butch?
The record starts strong.
It certainly does, yeah. It's a good sounding record and it stands up, but it's an interesting choice. I don't know. It wouldn't have been my top 3, Andy, but
well, again, you and Ricky, you have this shit in your DNA. I don't, I grew up listening to Ted Nugent, Aerosmith, so this is you got to give me a little bit of a break here. It's the top 3 because as I was a guitar player, I wasn't a singer then, and I was a guitar player, so the guitar players were everything, and it was, so Snowy was the first one I ever heard, Snowy and Scott. So because I think Scott gets kind of pushed to the side a lot because it's like, oh, who was the guitar player on this record? Well,
I just got a text from Scott Gorham. Seriously. Yeah. Scott just said to me, "Hey bud, tried calling you back earlier. Thanks, Ricky. It's actually been a great day."
Oh, okay, good.
His ears, he's sitting there and putting his ears burning, They're talking about
probably.
Me. Yeah.
Why is nobody talking about me?
Yeah.
No, but I always felt Scott kind of got pushed aside because it's It's always been about who the other guitar player is. Except when Robbo was in the band, I think it was more Gorham, you know. But I don't know. So you tell me. These are just my thoughts while I'm drinking. So
anyhow, Vivian, welcome to the show. And how this is actually working tonight, we're going to give our 3. We're going to go around and then 2 and then 1. So just so everybody knows, it's first time on the show. That's kind of how we do it. So Vivian, what is your number 3 Thin Lizzy record tonight?
You know, I thought about my top 3, but I didn't think to rank them.
oh,
Okay, here you put me on the spot, so I will rank them. I'll go Johnny the Fox, number 3.
Okay.
For me personally, because it was really one of those coming of age records. You know, it was like when I was first getting turned on to music. Sorry, my phone is just going bog. You sure you don't need some friends, Andy?
no, you should definitely let that guy in because he's got all your food.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they won't mind.
Vivian lives in a very rich part of the world, so he has 4 gates to get to his house. So there's different security checks to get to him.
New Hampshire,
I mean,
I don't think New Hampshire
Leppard is a big band, you know. I guess makes a lot of money. So
anyway, Johnny the Fox, mainly because I don't believe a word. You know, that was I think Lily's my daughter, Lizzy, at her sort of commercial peak. I mean, what is it, like 2 minutes 20 seconds or something of just rock pop godliness, you know, guitar harmonies, wicked solo by Brian Robertson. I mean, to this day, one of the best solos he's ever done. And just, you know, kind of embodied a moment in my life when I was really, I think I was 15 when the record came out, just really kind of learning my instrument, and it was just Nirvana, not the band, but it was literally to hear that, you know, and to see it on top of the pops and stuff. So yeah, Johnny the Fox would be my number 3.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Great choice. I guess we're going to move down to our other special guest tonight, Richard Warwick. Welcome.
Hey, Richard. Is my mother in the room? What's going on?
It's actually what it says on the
Shit.
screen. It says
what I do now.
Am I done? Thank you. I like Viv. It was a bit of a toss-up between Johnny the Fox and Fighting for me. Johnny the Fox because Borderline's on it, and I love Borderline. I think it's just such an amazing song. But I went for Fighting, and that wasn't my first introduction to Thin Lizzy. Black Rose Black Rose came out in '79, and I was just turned 13. I have an older sister who was very into rock music, and she was a Lizzy fanatic, and that was my first introduction. So I kind of worked backwards from Black Rose through the catalog, and picked up Fighting. And it's the songs, like I say, Suicide's on there. Wild One is just such a beautiful song about. It's a real Irish gypsy roving song. It's just Phil's vocals on it are great. For Those Who Love to Live is a song about George Best, who was Northern Ireland's answer to Pelly with an alcohol problem when it came to soccer. And I just love it. And again, Scott and Robbo's guitars on that, the way they complement each other, and the playing on it's just superb. So that would be my number 3 album. Would be Fighting. Not for the album cover. The album cover's not that great. It's if you remember the album cover, it's them up against the wall trying to look really, really hard. And
that was your cover. But Ricky, you know what? In the States, that wasn't our cover. So there's 2 covers.
Oh, really, Butch? What did you get? I didn't know that. Wow.
You got
it's coming. I'll show it later.
Okay. Right on. Okay, come on.
I don't want to blow up my spot yet.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I didn't.
He's got a whole routine planned.
Yeah. Well, but no, literally, there was 2. There was 2 covers, and actually, the one you're talking about is the better of the 2.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm gonna go with Fighting, number 3.
Awesome. And I guess we'll move over to Mr. Butch Jones. Welcome to the show. And what is your number 3?
Well, I'm going to take Andy's idea and really take Pete Pardo's idea from our show on Monday, where he cheats all the time. So, and you and I were talking, and anyone that knows me for 10 minutes knows that Lizzy's my favorite band. And so this is really, really hard for me to try to narrow it down to 3. It's like impossible. So I'm cheating. So
cheat.
I'm going to give you, I'm giving you 3 number 3s.
Awesome.
Because I can't do it any other way.
Can't do it.
Number 3.
So
All right.
I'll start with Bad Reputation is one of them. Just fucking brilliant. I mean,
Yes.
Bravo's not on it much, and but Bravo steals the show when he's on it. His solos are just fucking brilliant. I mean, just having Opium Trail and Bad Reputation on
Opium Trail's a great song. Yeah.
That's all you need. It's literally, you can just have those 2 and call it a day, and that's fine. So that's Bad Reputation. This is where it bothers me with this stuff, because they're like children to me, and trust me, Steve knows. This is difficult. So Black
number
Pearl
3
is tied for my 3.
Number 3, dude.
There's reasons why I wait for it.
Put that back.
It better be good
that.
reasons, Butch.
Put that back.
This is great, and you know what? And anyone that's watching right now knows what Viv means to me. He's mentioned a lot, and with big smiles every time I mention him. And I've been fortunate enough to meet Viv a bunch of times, and met him when I was 15 the first time on the first Holy Diver tour, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to tell Viv as an adult now, when I was 15 then, and as an adult now, how much that album Holy Diver and meeting him when I was 15, how that was a complete game changer for me. And reading in magazines in '83, he always talked about Gary Moore. And I had known Corridors of Power, but I'm like, well, if Viv is talking about Gary Moore, and I already know this one, I gotta do some digging. And I remember distinctly you mentioning Dirty Fingers. No one in America to this day knows about Dirty Fingers, but I remember reading about it, and I ordered it as an import, and that's still, to me, my favorite Gary Moore record. He blisters on that. So from that, and then finding that he was in Lizzy, as I got into Lizzy a little bit later, I love that record. Like I said, it hurts me to put it there. It could easily be number 1, but it's not today.
Hey Butch, I'll hurt you for putting it there.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm going to call my friend Andy, because I'm the only friend he has. I'm going to find out where you live, and I'm going to deliver some pizza. You know,
well, me and Andy used to be friends. But he doesn't call me anymore. So
oh, come on. Well, I'll call you when Viv comes to tattoo you.
You'll bring him over. So my real number 3 is Fighting. And honestly, this could have been number 1 because my favorite song of all. So again, Ricky, that's the cover that we got.
Right.
And then the other cover where they're doing the holding the chains up and looking all
bad.
Yeah,
and Phil's holding the bottom of his head.
My eyes don't work. Hold it closer. I can't see it. Oh, that's shit.
Yeah. Another reason why they didn't catch on over here.
They're a sexy bunch of guys. What are you talking about, man? Come on.
But my favorite Lizzy song of all time is on this record. And actually, before we actually got on, I always wondered if they ever played the song live. And I found, I think, the one and only time that they ever played Freedom Song live. Freedom Song is without a doubt my favorite Lizzy
Great song. I agree, Butch. Great
harmonies
fucking
in that
song.
is just are brilliant. His story is fucking brilliant. It makes me cry a little bit every time I hear it. I played it earlier probably 6 times, and every time it's like I catch myself getting misty. It's like, I don't know. It's something about that story that resonates with me. And fuck, is that song fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3. It's a brilliant record. Like you said before, Wild One, Jesus Christ. And Viv, I think, Viv, when you were with Liz, you guys played that, right?
We got to play it, didn't we, Viv? It was amazing.
I thought so. I saw you in New York City, and I was like, there's no fucking way that they're playing Wild One live. The whole harmony gets. I was like,
it was Ricky's idea. You were insistent about that for quite a while.
Was I? You remember me better, man.
That's another way of saying you were a real asshole about it, Ricky. You know? I don't know this, but you singer guys, you know, you and Andy, It's
Yeah,
like,
I
He's
know.
an asshole. You know what? He hates singers, Rick. He hates singers. He's just a.
I don't hate singers. They're a necessary evil.
He calls himself He said
They're
he was a
wonderful.
stunt guitar player for Lizzy, but he was actually the cunt guitar player.
I know. I'm well used to Mr. Campbell's abuse at this
Yeah, good.
stage in my life.
I will back up Viv to the day I die, and I will say this right now. Anyone that saw Lizzy when Viv was in the band, Viv, you were spot on, bravo.
Oh,
Here. Yes.
You're
I
playing the
agree.
song, and I'm hearing a solo in my head, and you're playing it note for note. I'm like, motherfucker. And then, of course, Black Rose comes. I'm like, okay, this is the one. Let's see if he gets it all, if he kind of does his own thing a little bit. I'm like, God damn, Gary Moore would be really, really proud right now. You fucking nailed it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on Lizzy. That was it. So, you know, you kind of take in all those influences. You take little Scott Gorham, Brian Robertson, a lot of Gary Moore, you know,
Yeah.
little Eric Bell, all that stuff. It all
Absolutely.
goes in there and mixes with
Nope.
Rory Gallagher. And
But no Snowy White. No Snowy.
oh, I mean, in fairness, I mean, Snowy's a lovely guy. I mean, clean tone, very, very articulate. He's just not a rock player, you know. And
Right.
he was the first to admit it. I mean, he was just, you know, I don't know how they ever ended up. I mean, I think Phil was always thinking outside the box.
Listen, nobody's mentioned Midge here.
Well, exactly. I was going to say because you know, Phil wanted to work with keys and synths a lot, and was really influenced by
Hence
New Wave
Midge. Yeah.
and Midge and all that stuff. And so there are all these different connections, and the whole London scene at that time. You know, Snowy was a big session player for Pink Floyd and all that stuff. So, you know, Phil Lynott was always trying to. He didn't want to be in that hard rock, heavy metal thing. I mean, he always was more than him. He's a great lyricist, great singer, great writer. It just happened to be that he was such a rock dude, you know, that it kind of fell into that. But you know, he was trying to look beyond being pigeonholed, I think, and that's why I think he worked with people like Midge and Snowy White and whatnot. And he's always willing to go outside of
expand the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
I gotta say one thing before you move on to somebody else, because Viv just said it. I have to make sure all Americans understand, because it annoys the shit out of me, because I met Phil's mom once and she told me, and Viv just said it, it is not Lynott, it's Lynott.
Yep.
I found something online that you guys keep talking, but I'm going to keep playing it just to it's a video on YouTube that basically tells you how to pronounce his name. It's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
But you guys go ahead, because I'm gonna find it. So it's gonna take.
Butch, you got actually a great story about meeting his mom.
Oh yeah, and so quickly in '99 she came to New York City to do a book signing for her book My Boy, and there wasn't a lot of people at the club, but the people that were there were very intimate to see her and very happy and appreciative and everything. And I went up to her. I had a friend of mine, Sean Haggerty, who I'm sure will probably watch this because it's Lizzy. And he said, if you meet Philomena, tell her that you're a friend of mine. So I did. I said, my friend Sean wanted me to tell you hi. And she's like, oh, it's Sean. Oh, I love Sean. You tell him I said hi. And in the middle of saying that, she looks at me and she's like, oh my goodness, you remind me so much of my Philip.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, what just fucking happened? And being a complete dick, she invited me. This is 1999. And when did she die? 19? I
think 19, 2019.
So I met her in 1999. She invited me then to come to Ireland, to come to the house, to have tea, and she'd show me around, and she'd take me to Phil's gravesite and all the stuff. And I never made it. Not that I didn't want to go, but I never made it.
Yeah.
So I had that offer out there, and being an asshole, I never made it.
Sorry to jump in, Viv. Do you remember when she came to the show in Dublin, the first time we played Dublin?
Yeah, at the Olympia. Yeah.
And that was, Butch, sorry to jump in. I gotta tell us, the first time we played Dublin with a new lineup, and I'll make this really brief, guys.
That's cool.
And of course, Philomena's come to the show, so I'm shitting myself even more than I normally would be. It's Dublin, it's Phil's hometown. And I could see her in one of the boxes. We played this beautiful theatre called the Olympia Theatre. I can see her at the corner of my eye, and I daren't look at her the whole show. And we finished with Black Rose, and I look up, and she's a huge smile on her face, tears streaming down her face, and applauding away. We go to the after show. We walk in, and she's sitting down, and she's holding court, and she's looking amazing and gracious as ever. And she waves me over, I had my wife with me at the time, and I said, Tina, just give me a minute. I'll go and talk to Philomena here. And I went, oh, here we go. This is it, And she stood up and she gave me the biggest hug. And she went, my Philip would have loved every fucking minute of that. She didn't say fucking, I did. My Philip would have loved every minute of that. And she said, you put so much soul and passion into those songs. He would have loved every bit of it. And suddenly that was all the validation I ever needed right there to sing those songs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got Robin.
Awesome.
I'm like, I get,
he cries all the
very
time.
emotional.
Oh, Robin, I burst into tears. She said to me, I miss my Philip every day. She said, for an hour and a half tonight, I missed him a little bit less because I knew he was with you on stage tonight. And I broke down and I was bawling my eyes out and the whole thing. And look, Phil's the lead singer of Thin Lizzy. I'm not, I never will be. It's Phil, that's it. I get to look after his songs. That's all that's been bestowed on me, and I'm very honored and grateful to do that. But for her to say that to me, it was amazing, and it was a game changer for me personally, being a small part of Thin Lizzy's story. Just wonderful woman. Really, really amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an excellent story.
Thanks for telling that story too.
Yeah, thank you. I guess we're gonna move over to Dennis. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Wow.
You're a big fan of Thin Lizzy too, I'm hearing.
Big fan of Thin Lizzy, yes. I was actually up here in Canada. I don't know if it's like the United States, but we were exposed to Thin Lizzy like early on. I had an older cousin who brought me it was like a best of Thin Lizzy, the first 3 albums, like Vagabond, Shades, and the first Thin Lizzy. And it was like they had like the rocker on that. So I was like so young, like maybe like 10 years old, 11-year-old, but I really liked that right away. So then after that, like when like Nightlife, Fighting, like we would follow their career. I had the chance to see Thin Lizzy in 1980 in Boston. Even though I'm from Canada, my dad's from the Boston area, so we used to go down to Boston, watch hockey, Boston Bruins against Montreal Canadiens. So I had the chance to go see Thin Lizzy when I was 14 in 1980. And it was a Chinatown tour. So after that, like a lot of people in Montreal used to like Zeppelin and like the normal band, but for me and my friend, it was UFO and Thin Lizzy, and we used to try to dig a little deeper and try to look out to these bands. Similar to you guys, it's almost impossible to pick like the best 3 Lizzy record, because each album has a song that's like better than another song on your favorite album, so that like no matter what you do, you're fucked, right? Like you can't get it right. But I'll go with same as Andrew. Like Renegade would be my number 3 record, and it's because I love like The Pressure Will Blow. I love Leave Town, and I love like Hollywood. The da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. It just worked for me. Like, I mean, I was not like musically involved enough to even like appreciate the mastery that was delivered to me when I saw them. But Renegade definitely for me like number 3 for these 3 songs. I love Angel of Death as well, but for me it was more like The Pressure Will Blow. I just like the riff and the solo over that. I don't know how much Snowy contributes or make it worse, but for me, like that song is really one of my favorite Lizzy songs.
Fats is cool.
Awesome.
I love Fats.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Denny, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. Robin Mason, welcome to the show. Amazing, Mason, coming from sunny Tampa, Florida tonight.
Sunny Tampa. I want to know if Andrew found that video.
Oh, yeah, I did. Here.
Are we able to hear it before I give my pick, or should we wait?
Sure. Oh, there you go.
Phil Lynott.
It'll repeat. Did you get it the first time? Okay.
You got it. Yeah, Phil Lynott.
Yeah, we got it.
In case you need it again. There you go. So if anybody fucks up, I'll just replay that. So
Okay.
Just put it on loop or something. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It already is.
So as far as like, songs and everything, you mentioned Jailbreak, and I mean, there are classics and there are songs on there that are, I mean, you have to, it is up there in the top, but I wasn't going to pick it because I figured that was going to be the most known and everything, you know,
Yeah.
that everybody knows. I had a story, actually I toured with I don't know if you guys know, but there was a band Immortal from Norway, and
sure.
they're super black metal, and they played The Boys Are Back in Town for probably 6 hours, drinking back to back to back to back to back to back, like all night. And I kind of like, after that, I was like, I had to kind of put it aside a bit.
Whatever keeps them from burning churches down. Just
Well, you know, and especially like, and especially, you know, I don't know if you know them, but like the drummer, he couldn't, like, he's very, and hearing him try to sing the song was, you know, I wish there was like, you know, cell phones back then that I could have probably recorded them on. But
Yeah.
so,
Cool.
as far as a song or an album, I'm gonna go like my number 3 is Killer on the Loose, which is more of a single. So I'm just gonna pick that, and I feel that song should be covered by more bands. It's got like, you know, that
Oh yeah.
What's that? Is
that
that a
rock and
Chinatown
heavy,
album?
like I think it's fantastic, and that's gonna be
That's
my
Chinatown?
pick, my number 3 pick, huh?
Would that be Chinatown?
Yeah,
Chinatown.
but it was like released as a single first, I believe, and then it was released on Chinatown. So I'm just picking the song because it was more.
No, we were picking albums, so you can pick
You
Chinatown.
can do whatever you want.
That's Chinatown, but I'm gonna do whatever I want. Thank you.
There you go.
She's one of the founders of the channel. She can run wild.
I'm doing what I want.
She's gonna cry about 4 more
I
times.
might cry
before we're done.
again. So hey, well, no.
Butch, what'd you
So-
say, Butch?
I was gonna say I have the 45 of that Killer on the Loose.
See, that's what I. So that's
Nice.
you see it there. It's my number 3. It's my 45 choice.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
I guess that brings me back to my number 3, and I'm going with Thunder and Lightning from '83. These could be they're not great order. I mean, they can be switched around. It's like any other band. How do you pick out your favorite kid or whatever? You know, it's just like, but Cold Sweat, Holy War, Heart Attack. I remember being thoroughly into that album when it was released in '83 and playing it all the time. And it was before I had my record shop, but it was just a very memorable album for me. And nobody wants to hear what I got to say because I've got rock stars on the night. So we're going back.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Thanks, Steve.
Rockstar. Oh, Butch Jones. I wasn't. Oh, yeah, Butch. Oh, yeah, you're a rock star too. Yeah. Anyhow, so we're going back
In my
to
house.
my number 1 rock star, Andrew Freeman, for his
Oh, you're so
number
sweet.
2. For your number 2 pick.
Black Rose, number 2. Black
Okay.
Rose. Gary Moore. Gary Moore.
Very more.
Gary Moore. The weirdest fucking two of the weirdest fucking songs that he ever wrote. I think S&M and Sarah.
Yeah.
Very good songs, but weird. S&M, I'm convinced that George Michael stole that for the song Faith. He ripped that off to write Faith. You know, it's got that kind of bouncy little thing.
Never thought about that.
Listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're
I love
right.
that album so much that my girlfriend's name is Sarah. So there we go. And my favorite song on the record is Toughest Street in Town. So it's an awesome song. Yeah, I love that
That's
song.
your favorite on that record, really?
Yep. I mean, besides like Wait for an Alibi is on there? Yeah. Besides that, you know,
Yeah.
I get Toughest. That's a fucking great song. So
Viv is burning up right now. I can say he's. So he's no longer mad at me. Now he's mad at you.
Well, Viv is next. Viv is the next in line right now, so it's his turn to rock.
Well, like I said earlier, I didn't think about
That's
the
fine.
particular order, but being forced to think about it now, I also
you're saying you didn't prepare. That's what you're saying.
I never prepare, Andrew. You should know that. So I would also put Black Rose in the number 2 spot.
There you go. See?
Wow. I
So
would have lost that bet.
yeah, I mean, and it was a tough call, but I just think it's the overall package. I mean, Black Rose has a few things going for me. I mean, Waiting for an Alibi was a huge single, and it had all the classic Lizzy elements. I mean, it was a hooky song. It had the twin guitar harmony, the melody tying through it. it had Gary Moore. And the whole album had Gary Moore. But sorry, Andrew, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. The one thing I was going to say, I'm going to cut you off, but the one thing about the record is that the reason I love Toughest Street in Town is because it's got the lead break on that. It's just like, it just tears your
I know. It's just, it
tears your head off.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love that
paying
song.
attention, and it's like, whoa, you're paying
It's like,
attention.
what the fuck? I know. Who's that guy? So.
Yep, that's true. That's a really good point. Ricky, we played, what was it? Do what you want to do anything you want to do, right? Then we played with the kettle drum.
Yeah,
we did indeed. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We had the full kettle drums out for that one.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Trying to put the sticks down and get on the guitars in time.
Exactly.
For kicking in. Yeah.
Here, you're a guitar player. Why don't you play drums and then play guitar? Like
the video.
But Black Rose, I mean, the song itself, Black Rose, I mean, it's such a masterpiece. Lyrically, as an Irish guy, I mean, there's so many cultural, historical, great Irish references in that, and the way that Phil, as a lyricist, kind of narrated this story about Irish history, and it was so brilliant. And to put it to music that way, I mean, it was just I mean, if there ever was a rock track that deserves to be described as epic, it's Black Rose. I mean, it's just fucking monstrous. And then
I feel like that should be called Emerald Part 2, though. You know what I mean? So
it's way more than Emerald. I mean, Emerald, you could see Emerald was the genesis of it. That's where it kind of started. But Black Rose really kind of took it to this.
Oh, it's great song.
Because the musicianship had really stepped up. I mean, let's not underestimate how great a guitar player Gary Moore was. I mean, he just totally shines on that song, and that whole album, in particular that song. I mean,
Black Rose is Horselips on acid and speed, right?
Exactly, yeah. But does anyone here even know who Horselips?
I'm not from South who they are, but I mean, if you check out Horselips, you kind of see where Phil was definitely a fan of the Irish band Horselips, but he took it to the next level. Black Rose, absolutely.
Horselips were like in the early to mid 1970s. Horselips were this traditional Irish band, like the tin whistle, the fiddle, the buran, that hand drum you play with a little mallet.
Right.
And they kind of married that with electric bass and electric guitar. They had a guitar player called Johnny Finn who played a gold Les Paul Standard.
That's right.
And electric keys, like electric piano and stuff like that. So it kind of was just, they started as a traditional Irish band and fused it with this rock stuff. And it was, like electric folk music. And it was really exciting. It was really, really high energy. And Lizzy were coming up about the same time. And like we said earlier, I mean, Phil, as creative a guy as he was also very, very, very hungry to learn and absorb from those people
other stuff. Right.
And Horselips were right there with him when Lizzy were in their nascent years, and he definitely clocked a lot of that, and it all kind of culminated like 1979 Black Rose album was just bang. I mean, that was it. If there were a few more wonderful tunes on that, I would have given it my number one spot, but there's another album, I think we all know what it is, that actually just had a lot more grit.
A lot of songs,
a lot of great songs on it. So my number two, Black Rose, and Gary was there, and
the thing that's awesome about Black Rose too, like you were talking about, Phil, with all the Irish references and everything. At the end of Black Rose, where he starts kind of riffing and all the cultural stuff he's talking, and Van the Man and all that kind of stuff, which I love that. I think it's phenomenal, but it's really funny that a few years later, you're playing with Ronnie, and he kind of did the same kind of thing at the end of songs, where he kind of did his own little riffing kind of stuff as the song was trailing out. It's the same kind of thing, but Phil was a master. And
I feel like he kind of, we talk about Ronnie, I feel like he kind of wanted to tap into what was going on at that time, when getting Vivian and getting Jimmy, kind of, made him a UK citizen by by association. You know what I mean? I think he, after playing with Blackmore and the Sabbath guys, it just kind of became a thing that he wanted to be a part of. And why not get these guys that are in the middle of that stuff, you know, because I know Viv, you were in the middle of all that back then too. Like you were opening for all these bands. You were the younger guy with those guys, right? I imagine. Right?
Well, Ronnie spent a lot of time. I mean, I know Ronnie lived in Fulham, in London, for a long, long time. You know, so I know. I think even before he was working with Geezer and Tony and Sabbath and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he was very Anglophiled. You know.
I just don't think that band would have ever worked with like an American guitar player. It wouldn't have worked with one of those LA guys, you know. It definitely wouldn't have worked, you know.
And you know, and I guess one more thing, because even though I didn't pick it higher up, it could have easily been my number one. But a fun fact that I know probably a lot of the people that are watching this probably don't know about Gary Moore on Black Rose is the song Black Rose, where he gets into the whole Celtic thing with the two guitars. That's him on both sides.
It's him playing both parts.
Playing both parts with two different guitars, which is.
I realized that when Scott asked me to play the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. If I was about
we were in rehearsal in North Hollywood at Mitts, and it's like and Scott goes, "Hey man, could you like when we played that?" At the end of that song, I was fucking knackered. It was like
exactly. Now you know why I said that you did that so awesome that I was waiting for it. I'm like, oh, he fucking killed it. So that's all Gary.
Hilarious, man. Holy shit.
Sorry, one more thing about Black Rose. So Sarah and Gary Moore, the song Sarah, I believe that was Gary Moore's song. It was an instrumental that he had. And he played it for Phil, and Phil, you know, his first daughter, Sarah, had just been born around that time. So he wrote some lyrics for it, but I believe it was a Gary tune. And when you listen to the changes, it's actually very kind of jazzy, you know, and Gary, you know, I know Gary rock and blues and stuff, but he also, the first time I heard Gary Moore was John Heisman's Coliseum 2. He was playing jazz fusion, you know, I mean, so.
Wow.
Yeah, he had that. Yeah. Anyway, little side note.
Cool.
Excellent.
I'll always be indebted to Vivian Campbell for talking about Gary Moore in 1983 and opening that door for me. I'm telling you, I wouldn't know about any of that stuff if it wasn't from reading about him in the magazine. So shut up, Andy.
I didn't say anything.
I know.
What the fuck did I say?
And he's like, I've known Bush since the 90s.
You're welcome.
Just shut
up.
You're
welcome, Butch. You're welcome.
I guess we're if you're done, Viv, we're gonna head back over to Ricky. Ricky,
I'm done yet. Unless Andy wants to borrow some of my friends.
I did. I got Ricky on the show. I did. I borrowed.
Andy, are you that lonely? I mean, I could Zoom more with you if you're that lonely.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Oh man, it's so hard to put these in order for. Even just to pick your favorites out of all of them, but put them in top 3. So I'm going to try number 2, Live and Dangerous.
Oh,
that doesn't count. No.
I don't know, man.
You can't pick a live album.
Live and Dangerous.
You can't pick a live album.
It's the greatest live album ever recorded.
I feel like if anybody can pick it, he can pick it. So you can go fuck yourself, Butch.
People get upset if you pick live albums on here.
I mean, I didn't know it was studio albums only. You know.
No, it's fine because I wanted to pick that one too because I love that record because it's a nice assortment of a lot of they have a lot of records and it's a good assortment of.
Well, no, I mean, it was a game changer for me when I heard it.
Great album.
It was so amazing. It's so amazing. It's such an incredible live record, and some of the versions on that record to me are almost better than the studio versions. In my honest opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, and getting into Lizzy as I was around that time, that was, I blew the doors off when I heard it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
In fairness, I almost picked that, but then I thought, that would be a cop out.
It's the album.
Fuck you, Vivian Campbell. I love you, but fuck you.
I wore that 8-track out in the 70s. That's how old I am.
Wow.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Johnny the Fox then as my second album.
You got a tie for second, Rick. You got a tie for second.
Because it's got Borderline on it.
You got a tie for second. That's fine. It's anarchy here. Any rules go. We're just having a good time talking about Thin Lizzy.
No, it's good, man.
Cool.
So I got nothing. It's, in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's the greatest live record ever recorded. Amen.
But is it really live?
Well, it depends who you talk to. If you talk to Tony Visconti, it's not. If you talk to Scott Gorham, it absolutely is.
But have you heard the Poison live album? The Poison live album is really good.
I was going to go there, but
One Skinny Bop, man.
Again, it depends who you talk to.
Go,
on the
baby,
Poison.
come on. It's a good rocker.
I guess we're back over to Mr. Jones.
I got to get a beer. When Butch is going to talk, I'm going to go grab a beer.
Grab a
Oh,
beer.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm going for a piss.
It's like intermission now. Everybody's going to get a beer.
That's why Andy has no friends. He waits for his friend that he's known for 30 years to come on, and then he gets up and walks away.
You're
I gotta
absolutely
go
right,
pee.
I'm staying. I'm here.
But listen, again, I'll say this though. At least when you guys come to town, he hooks me up with you, so I get to see you. So he's not all bad. He's pretty bad, but he's not that bad. So me, number 2, Johnny the Fox. Because and actually this one, can you guys see that? Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this fucking light. You can't fucking see it. I can't even see it.
I can see it. You can see it, Butch.
Can you see it? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it.
This album, it has maybe one or two the greatest starting song on a Lizzy record for me. The song Johnny, holy shit. I can remember the first time I heard it, I had no idea what was on it. It took me forever to find this album in the 80s, trying to find it. It was impossible. So I had no clue what was on it. And to put the needle on it, because this is actually the actual vinyl that I got with the actually cool little Johnny the Fox thing inside. I had no idea what to expect. And Johnny comes on, I'm like, holy shit. This record just crushes. And the song Johnny the Fox is awesome. I mean, there's so many great songs on that. And Borderline is great. And you guys know Damon Johnson. Damon Johnson does a great version acoustically of Borderline, which is brilliant.
Yes, he does. Yep.
But Johnny the Fox, on another video show that I did, it was my number 1. So depending on the day, it can easily be my number 1. But today it's number 2. It bothers me a little bit, but I love it. But it's my number 2. It's just a brilliant record.
Thank you very much, Butch.
Right.
Back over to Denny. Denny, what do you got for number 2?
I feel like I'm completely off with my selection, but that's okay. That's okay. Number 2 for me is Bad Reputation. I felt like there was after Jailbreak, they were trying to do another big record. Johnny the Fox came out. It was a great record, but it didn't have as much success. I don't know why. I still don't know why to this day. But it's almost like a Bad Reputation. They're like, okay, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want, and if it's good, it's good. If it's not good, if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. But I love the song Opium Trail. There's a vibe to it. There's a vibe to it that's just mesmerizing. It's just so good. And the song Bad Reputation is extremely heavy. Like the drumming, we always talk about Lizzy's guitar players and stuff like that, but Brian Downey was an amazing drummer. And it's almost in Bad Reputation, he kind of stood out as even more liberty to do crazy stuff. So number 2, I wish I would have now taken Live and Dangerous as my number 1, but number 2 is Bad Reputation, and I'm staying behind my choice. I like it.
Excellent.
Opium Trail is such a great song. If you actually pay attention, especially with headphones on, all the stuff that's kind of swirling underneath, there's so much stuff going on in that song. Oh man,
amazing.
Vivian, did we work that one up in rehearsals, but we never actually end up playing it live?
I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think
we
we
went
did.
through a lot of songs. We definitely never played it live, but I think we can.
No.
Then we chose the path of least resistance. Like you do. Yeah. Some other time. Guys, I'm going to log off and join again. Mike was making farty noises.
I heard a noise.
Too much boiled cabbage for dinner or something.
I thought that was your from your takeout you had ordered.
All right, I'll see you in a couple of seconds.
I'll be right back.
All right.
No problem. I didn't know who was farting.
Oh, I thought he'd never leave. Jesus Christ.
It's all about bacon and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day.
What's that?
Yeah, right.
I said it's all about bacon and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I did make cabbage, but I didn't do the corned beef, I have to say. I did a substitute instead. But
Well,
Oh, that's good.
we're back to you, Robin. It's your turn
Oh.
for number 2.
okay, well, since we usually don't do live records, I am gonna, now that it's been thrown in, and I'm gonna be like Denny right here, because I'm gonna say Live and Dangerous is gonna be my number 2, but if I had to pick a record, also Bad Reputation was my number 2
All right.
as well. Like I love Dancing in the Moonlight. It has like this rock reggae 50s 60s vibe. Like I love like the oldies station. I shouldn't even call it oldies, but that's like some of my favorite music when I listen to stuff, like and I bet the song Bad Reputation, like you said, like every so I'm right there with you with Live and Dangerous, though is not my number 1, but I'm gonna throw that in there since now I'm allowed to, because the rules have changed because other people have said.
Ricky changed the rules, man. He's on the
Thank you for doing that.
Leave it to the Irish.
When the singer of the band says that you can change it, then you can change it. So
Yes.
I can't.
Fuck you, Andy. Aren't you a singer?
I slid it in there.
Fuck you, Andy. Aren't you a singer trying to make your own
Put it in my
rules now?
list.
it's basically Fuck Off Butch is my favorite record.
Exactly.
Oh.
I understand.
That's not on my list.
Robin.
Oh, okay. It's
never heard that
always
record.
on mine.
I know it's on Andy's. It's on the top of Andy's
It's always
list.
on my list. God damn it.
That's not on my list. But yeah, so basically that's my number 2 choice.
I have a question for Robin.
Yeah.
You've mentioned Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Sade's version?
No, I have not. I'm gonna write it down.
Have you guys?
Is
Is
it?
it
It's great, but
wonderful?
it's awesome, right?
Wow.
I mean, so amazing.
it's
right?
unreal.
I'm adding
Yeah.
that I need to listen to that because I do
Beautiful.
like a lot of Sade. So, and I'm
Wow.
sure I
She-
probably
she-
did hear it. My old roommate used to.
She kills it. She absolutely
Yes.
kills it. It's amazing.
My old roommate used to like, I mean, he played in a death metal band, but his big thing was playing Sade records on the weekends while he like,
Like you do when you're in the
Yes, you
death
do, you know.
I mean, all my death metal friends,
hey,
I know when Vivian and I are on the road, sometimes we just get together after the show, we open a bottle of red wine and we just talk about our feelings and listen to some Sade,
and Lionel Richie, yeah.
because he is
I totally
because
back that.
he is my sweetest taboo. He is my sweetest.
Aw.
And I'm the only friend he has, so.
The only,
The only
yeah, well, that's
friend, yeah.
questionable.
Robin, you will be floored when you hear it. And Viv, if you've never heard it before either,
No, I've
it's
never.
it's
Oh, wow.
I
unbelievable.
wrote it down though.
It
All
was,
right. All the viewers better write it down and listen.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm gonna
No,
check it
no
out.
lie.
Well, man,
Excellent.
I think we're gonna have like a tic-tac-toe here because my number 2 is also Bad Reputation from 1977.
Hey,
Everyone has talked about it already, so I don't have to add too much. But I mean, Opium Trail and Soldier of Fortune, that double pack. I was listening to it today on my afternoon walk with the dog, and it's just it's just a great album. And I guess I'll have to go the tie for number 2 with Live and Dangerous since everybody else has.
Not me.
I'm Chris Caffrey on this episode since Chris didn't make it tonight, but he likes to say, that's my pick. I picked that one.
yeah. So me too. Yeah, me too.
I love Chris. But so we're going to go around for our final number 1. And if anybody has a question they'd like to ask Viv or ask Ricky, please do it along with your number 1 album. And once again, I thank everyone for giving Rock Fantasy Files their time tonight. And I think that's just a perfect episode for St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
Could have only been better if Scott was here on his birthday.
No, that's the only reason why he's not here, because it's his birthday.
I
So.
believe it. That would have been cool though.
And also he apparently has issues with working computers. So that's
Yeah. That's the real truth, Andy.
He heard I was going to be here, and then it's like.
Snowy White was going to be here, and Eric Bell. But Eric Bell was really angry, so he couldn't make it. Is it my turn? Oh, good.
Yay.
It's your number one, Andrew. You're the first. You're the last in line. No, the first.
Oh. Oh, Jesus. Really?
Look at cassette.
Yep.
You don't have the 8-track too?
Side 2 specifically. Side 2 specifically.
Oh yeah.
I love the whole album. I can listen to it front to back.
Wait a minute. Hold that back up.
Yeah, hold it back up.
Wait, it went away. It didn't click it.
What? What do you?
When you did it before, I could see it. Now you're not. Hold on. Do I have to?
What,
click
this? You want to see this?
Yeah. How do I get you so I can see? Somehow before when you were talking, you were the whole screen and now you're not. What on your cassette?
It's a different view.
You said side 2.
Yeah, side B.
What's the last song on your side 2 on that cassette?
Warriors.
Exactly. That's not the album. Wow. The album, the last song is Emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying. I saw that. Wow.
So Andrew, your whole youth has just been taken from you.
No, actually, Viv, this was
You've been living a lie.
Actually, this was purchased at a Goodwill in the past 10 years.
Maybe it's one of the Columbia House versions.
Wow.
Goodwill, 99 cents. There was a stack of cassettes, and this was in it. And I said, I cannot leave that there.
No.
So I forked up the 99 cents and I took it home with me, and I ate it. Yeah. So anyway,
You better take it back and ask for money back. The running order's wrong.
Yeah.
It must be one of those truck stop
you know what?
versions.
I think that this is a Columbia House tape. I think that it's a Columbia House
Oh,
tape.
okay, right.
You know, one of those old Columbia House tapes. So
Yeah.
because of
Not
the
that
way
you take it
cover
back to good, not Goodwill, but exchange it anyway. You know, they don't really.
Yeah, I'll just be like, what the fuck is this?
Fuck, come on, guys.
But
Come on.
it speaks to the greatness of the record that even though Andrew has been listening to the wrong running order for so many years.
No, it's still the right running. It's just got one song ahead. That's one song.
Yeah.
And it's the cassette. Are we all confident that the original cassette that came out had that running order? Are we confident about that?
I don't know, whatever Butch says.
Anybody?
Whatever
Anybody?
Butch
Right,
says.
Butch, you don't fucking know. You don't fucking know.
I have to say, I think that the real running order is like the album with Emerald on the end, because Emerald has to end that record.
Right.
Yeah, I
Concur.
get that, but that's not what's happening here.
Hold
You got a
on.
fucked up 99 cent fucking cassette.
Well, I got a fucking but I got a 99 cent cassette. I got a fucking Thin Lizzy cassette, and it's called a prop. You fuck. Now listen,
Prop.
Does anyone have the
I know-
It's a prop,
I know.
exactly.
I know that I am a bit of a punter when it comes to this band, to Thin Lizzy. I'm very aware of that. I'm a bit of a punter when it comes to this band, but I do love this record, and I know it's the hit record. It's the one that everybody knows, well, not everybody knows, but everybody knows Boys Are Back in Town, and but that's okay because that's a fantastic song too. And every time I hear it in the supermarket or I hear some cover band playing it, it makes me happy just because it's getting represented. Something that I love is getting represented that normally shouldn't be. So somebody in that band, went a little digging there. They had somebody who introduced them to the band, and that's okay because in this country, it's not as popular as it was in Europe. So I am not afraid to say that this is my favorite record. I love Jailbreak. I love Boys Are Back in Town. I love Cowboy Song is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
I will say, and I'm probably going to get smacked the next time I see him, but Emerald was not one of my favorite songs. It was
I'm
not.
out. Okay, I'm out.
I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Wow.
It was a long one for me, but once I
Too
got
heavy.
to play, once I was, I gave it a second chance once I started playing with Vivian, and I'll say now that it's a good one, and I'll listen to it and I enjoy it.
Very good.
I love that
Um,
song.
But I will say on this album, Cowboy Song and Jailbreak are my favorites. So, and there's a country band here in Vegas that I go see from time to time. They just happen to be playing in random bars in town, and they pull Cowboy Song out. And every time I walk in, they start playing Cowboy Song because I'm the only kind of fucking place who knows this song. So that is my favorite, and that is my punter's view on Thin Lizzy by a asshole American.
Well, I'm looking at the track listing.
Well, the 99-cent cassette.
Well, it says, okay, so it says Emerald is the last song on side 2, as everybody agreed.
Yeah.
And what did you had Warriors, right?
Warriors is the last one on that one. Yeah.
It
On
says
this side.
Warriors was the last song on side 1.
Side A.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's
Side
really
A.
mixed up then.
See, now I want to know, are any other songs messed up on your 99-cent cassette?
You know what? I have the Wikipedia up on my computer screen here, so I'm gonna.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm
Just
looking
let
at.
me see the
We're
picture.
digging deep on this cassette.
No, fuck you.
Dick.
Gee. that's
He's
language.
Lizziepedia. I can't.
Can you read that?
I did until it went away. Now I can't see it.
Jailbreak.
It went away. You read it.
What is going away? It's
No,
right
now
there.
you're back. Now you're back.
You gotta
Going
switch it to the. Oh, because you're gonna be.
Wait a minute, Fight or Fall?
Fighter Falls the last song on that track, on that side.
Listen,
Oh,
man,
what?
What? Fighter Falls? What?
it's a mess. All right. What do you want?
It's a
from me?
complete mess. Where's Fight or Fall the
That
last
might
song?
actually be really rare then, and you
That
got
might
really
be a
good
very
deal.
rare, it might be worth
Yes.
more than 99.
Oh, now I'm okay. Now I'm okay because it's rare. Okay.
You better look it up. It
You're
might be
fucked up,
like
but you
it
gotta
might be
look it up.
$500 on Amazon.
All right. Now I'm okay.
I didn't say that.
That was close. That was a close one. That
I
was a
guess I
close
wanted to add something about the boys are back in town. In Middletown, New York, where I live and where my store is. In the 70s, there was a famous rock club called Dino's. And then everyone that lived around here thought that Thin Lizzy,
Oh yeah.
you know, they were that naive to think that a band from Ireland was talking about a little club in Middletown, New York. But it was kind of like Middletown's little theme song, just because like the boys are back there hanging out at Dino's, and that's where everybody went to see bands.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think the Dino's Bar and Grill was in Manchester, England. Viv, is that right? Because Philomena had a hotel there for a while, and
That's where she worked,
used
right?
to hang out there. Yeah, she
was
owned a
her
hotel
place,
there, and then I think there was a cafe called Dino's Bar and Grill, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's the reference.
So,
So that's my number one. So
the folks from Middletown, New York, you were wrong about this.
we were wrong. Just like
Sorry.
most things.
No, for clearing that up. So are we done with the 99-cent tape? And we're gonna-
Actually, no,
Yes.
I'm looking. I'm not.
These guys
I'm
want to
looking.
go on dinner.
So basically, it says there is a cassette that came at night on Mercury that shows that the Warriors was last.
That's what he's got. Yeah.
And it's worth
So it's
$5
different than
grand.
the other.
But Andy, where's Emerald?
It's,
Emerald on here is on this
it's on
list.
side 2. It's second to last.
It's not even.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yep, on this one it is. That's the Mercury. It says
And
this
It is
is
it's the Mercury one. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Mercury one.
And it says it's
That's
worth
what-
$1 million.
well, it's
right.
$7.99. So you're $7 higher than
Woo, you can sell it for $7.99.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
It's just like
you got a
just like
great
my
deal.
cryptocurrencies, making $7 a day.
This is a shameless plug. You know, I just put my new album out in cassette as well.
You did?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Nuclear
Oh,
blast.
I did.
I still have a
I
cassette
did,
player
I
in my
did
car.
300 limited running cassettes. I think, funnily enough, I think they've all gone, but I had one in the house. My youngest daughter came down and went, "What's it cool? A deck of cards, Dad?" And I just was like, "I'll explain later."
Get out of my house. Get the fuck out of
Yeah.
my house.
I know, yeah, exactly. Who are you?
So Andrew, before we move on to Vivian, do you have any questions for our special guests tonight?
Yeah, I can think of something. Hey, I have a question for Vivian Campbell.
Okay.
Have you finished the guitar tracks on that song yet? Okay. I have a question for Ricky Warwick.
Okay.
Will there ever be an almighty reunion?
Wow.
Or
There's
let me
a lot of
rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Will there ever be an almighty tour with you singing with other guys behind you?
The answer to that question is no, there won't be. But there's a lot of anniversaries coming up in the next 2 years, and I've learned to say never say never. Certainly
right,
after the
cool.
certainly after the year we've all had.
Of course.
So who knows? You know, who
That's
knows?
acceptable.
I mean, we're all good. We're all happy. Nobody needs to do it because of the money, thankfully, and we're very
Right.
blessed in that respect. And we're all on good terms. So, you know, who knows? At the minute, no, but I'm never going to rule anything out anymore.
When you guys came out, I thought that the band was from New York City because that was like late '80s, right? When that record.
We wished we were.
Yeah. But what year was that? What year did the
We
record-
started in '88. The first record came out in '89, and a lot of the first shows we played were in NYC. We did the Limelight and the Cat
yeah.
Club and all.
Yeah, that's where I saw you guys.
Yeah.
I saw you guys at the Limelight.
Played
and
up
I
in
felt like-
Hoboken, you know, and what was it, the venue at L'Amour's in Brooklyn? We played there, and you know, it was fucking amazing. You know.
Well, I always thought you guys were like coming in with like bands like Spread Eagle and
Right.
Law and Order, and you know it was kind of this wave that came in of you know
we would
more-
have got away with it
Not a
until we
street
opened our
thing.
mouths. You know, being Irish, Scots Irish, and the other three guys being insanely Scottish. As soon as we opened our mouths, we just blew our whole facade of being like, you know,
Not here,
"Hey,
nobody-
okay, this one kind of goes like this. I 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it was like,
Yeah,
You wanted to, Ricky
those were
wanted
good
to be
years
from
for
New
me.
York. I'm sorry, go ahead. No,
I said
sorry.
those were good years for hard rock and music. I loved those street metal bands, man. They were
They
you know,
were,
you
man.
guys.
It was
Spread
good
Eagle. It
times.
was good. That was good times.
Yeah.
That was like around Foundations Forum when Foundations Forum started, and
oh man, so much fun doing
Yeah.
those every year. I think we did about 3 of them, and they were chaos, but beautiful chaos. I love doing
yeah,
it.
good times. Yeah,
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's it. That's all I got for
I
you.
guess we're gonna move over to Vivian Campbell and get your number one Thin Lizzy record, and maybe you have a question for Andrew Freeman at the end. Who knows?
Oh,
No
we're on a
surprise.
compact disc.
You know,
I'm surprised.
well, at least it has a running order that ends with Emerald.
Wow, Emerald's the last song now.
I never said I wasn't a punter. I never said that.
Anyway, I mean, only because I mean it had so many hit songs. To me, it was really the record that's when, you know, Lizzy had been hinting at the sound, and that's when it coalesced. That's when it came together. And not only did the twin guitar driven pop metal rock thing come together on that record but the quality of the songs, you know, just there's obviously Boys Are Back, that was the big hit
Yeah.
in this country, but you know, cowboy songs we mentioned, Emerald, Warriors. I mean, there's just the songwriting really kind of coalesced. The sound of the band came together for me on that record. And interestingly, I don't know if anyone remembers, but there's literally 6 or 7 months between the release of the Jailbreak record in 1976, in March, I believe, of 76, and in either October or November of that year, Johnny the Fox came out with "Don't Believe a Word" on it, which was a huge song for Lizzy. So certainly in the UK. So it was a real high point. It was a real zenith for Lizzy and for Phil as a writer and stuff. So
Right.
oh, where's
Bye,
Mike?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Bye, Sarah. Bye, Sarah.
Oh,
This is
Hi guys.
this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
I told you. I have
Yeah.
friends.
well, okay.
Why are you yelling at them though? You're
'Cause they're-
yelling so much at them.
Is she really your friend?
You and fuck you. And fuck. I'm like, this is
Sarah.
his way of love.
Because he's here. Because
Showing
he's here.
love.
Because he
You're scary, man.
Sarah,
Look-
Sarah,
look
are
at
you really his friend though, Sarah? You're really not.
It's shorter.
oh, sorry.
Shorter. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, ouch, babe. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, next rated here.
Sarah, do you know
Fine.
that Lizzy wrote a song about you?
About me? I know he played it
Yes.
for me today. I loved it.
Is it the first time
And
you
it
ever heard
was
it?
definitely about me. 100%.
Maybe
Yes,
Vivian
it's
has
Phil's
a-
daughter. It's Phil's daughter, actually.
maybe Vivian has a question for Sarah.
Hi, Facebook friend Sarah.
How tall is the Duke of Kent?
How tall? At
Of course.
least 4.5 feet. Maybe 4'11. 4'11.
I feel like that's a clever trick UK question.
Everybody was smaller back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye guys. I gotta go.
Bye.
Yeah, now.
She's working.
All right,
Cool.
Grant. So that was a Jailbreak, you know. It was the era.
Yep.
Great one.
Excellent. Bye.
Cool. Anything else you want to
Sorry.
add, Viv? Or you-
Just that Andrew's an asshole. No, I mean, sorry. Andrew's, a lovely guy and a great singer. And his wonderful hair.
I'm just really happy to hear that he calls Ricky an asshole too.
Oh,
Hey,
I've called
many-
Ricky worse. I've called Ricky
Yes.
worse than that at
Yes.
3 a.m. on a
There's-
tour
there's-
bus.
There's a lot of things we can't say on air here.
And
Lots of
the whole Northern Ireland.
Yeah,
kind of
United Irishmen. Mm.
It keeps it interesting, you know.
All right.
Cool. So Ricky,
I am enjoying Leeds United this year. They're playing some lovely football.
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable. It's such an emotional roller coaster to be a Leeds
I'm actually
fan.
getting really into them, mate. I'm just not just saying it. They're playing some great football.
They're incredible to watch.
And
but it's
Sturdy Dallas, one of our own as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I know. Yep,
That's good
Great
stuff.
team. Sorry, we're diverting here into.
that's
Sorry.
fine.
You want to shut up a
Soccer.
group of Americans? Start talking about football.
Not the Seattle Seahawks, Butch and
The
Dennis.
wrong football.
All right, grand job.
We got
Ricky, it's your
football.
turn.
Yeah, it is.
My turn. This is a little bit redundant outrage here because Viv described it so eloquently on his number 2 album. I'm going to go Black Rose for number 1, and I've got it right here. Because it's the first album that really got me into Lizzy. Like I saw Lizzy on Top of the Pops, the UK, religious rock and roll show we had every Thursday night when I was a kid. I was 6 years old. I remember seeing him play Whiskey in the Jar in '72, and I was mesmerized by Phil and how he looked and the sound. I just never heard anything like it, and it stuck with me. But then years progressed, and then, like I said, an older sister. Black Rose was the first album, and I was a punk. I was into bands from Northern Ireland like Stiff Little Fingers and the Undertones and Rudy and the Outcasts. There was a great punk scene in Northern Ireland back then. But I was very much into Lizzy and Rory Gallagher and Horselips as well because of my older sisters. So that was the first album that when I heard that, there was an edginess to it and aggression to it that a lot of the other Thin Lizzy albums don't have. And well, that's down to just Gary and Scotty, what they're doing on the guitars. Or like a song like Got to Give It Up, the smell of desperation off Phil's voice on that, because it's so true about what he's singing about. It's so powerful. It's so amazing. And what was great was we did some Lizzy shows in 2019. And one of the festivals we headlined in the UK, we got to play Black Rose in its entirety on the 40th anniversary of it being released from start to finish. So I got to sing songs like The Toughest Street in Town with Love and Sarah. And believe it or not, Got to Give It Up, which we could never get Scott to do, which he had to do for this festival that we were headlining. And we walked on and we started with the album in its entirety and did it the whole way through, and obviously played, the rest of the stuff after that. It's such a phenomenal album, and Do Anything You Want To has such a personal meaning for me, because when Scott called me and offered me the chance to sing those songs, your initial reaction is your boyhood dreams are coming true. You're getting to sing for your band. So you say yes. Then you put the phone down, then you go, what the fuck have I just agreed to? How am I ever years going to do this any kind of credence or justice? And then the denial and everything sets in. And I went and listened to that song, and everything I wanted to answer was there in Phil's lyrics in that song. And I mean, Viv will tell you, I think we were in Germany at the time, but I have the first verse tattooed on my left leg of Do Anything You Want To. Wow. And so for that reason, I can't pick any other album than Black Rose. I mean, for everything that Viv said earlier about, when Phil sings about the mountains of Mourne going down to the sea, being a County Down boy, waking up in the morning and pulling back the curtains, and on the wee farm that we lived on, I could see the mountains of Mourne. That's what I could see from our kitchen window. So that it all resonates with you as a kid, and you just, the soundtrack of my youth. Simple as that.
Man, I gotta tell you, you had mentioned before that you had wished that you were from New York City. What you just said, right? Well, I mean, even so, just what you just said there, just talking about Black Rose, I've always joked that I wish that I was Irish, because I would love to have been able to have that.
That's great, but look, Ireland's is a very troubled country. And there's a lot of divisions and a lot of stupidity and a lot of needless and pointless stuff. At the end of the day, I'm very proud to be an Irishman. I'm very proud to be where I'm from, regardless of anything that goes on. And the music that comes out of Ireland makes me even prouder. And certainly Thin Lizzy were, when we were kids growing up in as Viv will tell you, with Sweet Savage, we were looking at these bands and going, there's a way out. because it was carnage in the 70s and 80s. It just was. It was rubbish. It was absolute fucking rubbish. But suddenly our idols that were from where we were from gave us hope that we could transcend this nonsense and get out and see the world and make our dreams come true.
Right.
And Thin Lizzy were absolutely number one band for me in doing that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Steve will tell you when he told me that you guys are going to be on this, it means the world to me that I have two guys from Ireland there that lived and breathed it. I mean, it's the thing, you know, people say you have no idea, but you have no idea. For me, Andy kind of knows, you know, when we became buds in the 90s and we played together for a little while, and I was talking to you about Lizzy then, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
but nobody would come and play in Belfast back then. I mean, but our own bands, you know, our own local bands, you know, and the Thin Lizzies and the U2s and the Rory Gallaghers and the Horselips and the punk bands, they were the bands that would come and play. The odd time we get a big band come like Fleetwood Mac come and play, you get 1,000 punks go to see Fleetwood Mac just because it was a fucking band coming from another country to play in Belfast. You know what I mean? Something happening, you know. So an iconic album, and maybe not just my number one album. Maybe this and Inflammable Material by Stiff Little Fingers are probably my two favorite albums of all time. Period. End of.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And you know, as much Lizzy's information that I have in my stupid book of useless knowledge in my head, I did not know that you did a run of doing complete Black Rose. So that, you know,
we were booked to play two festivals, and we got to do one, and the second one, typical, you know, British summertime, it got rained off and it got cancelled. So we only got to do the album once in its entirety, and then we were booked on to another couple of festivals, and one was in Spain and one was in Belgium, and you know, the time slot we had didn't allow us to do the album in full, but we got to play the guts of it each time. And you know, I'm talking to Scott. Scott's talking about doing some more Lizzy dates next year, and I'm like, we got to play Toughest Street in Town. We got to play Got to Give It Up. They're in there now, bro. You know, you cannot go backtrack on this. They're such amazing, great songs. They really are.
Anybody that's watching this right now or later and hearing you say that to me, that you played that record, they're like, his fucking head would have exploded.
Oh man, I mean,
it's true.
It was unbelievable, you know. And it's funny, we did it, and I can't remember much about the show because obviously I was so nervous and so caught up and just trying to remember everything and deliver it the best that I could. I know it was a great show, and I know it was historical for the fact of what it was, but my memories of it are really, really blurred, and it's really, really weird because I want to remember it clearly, you know. And I'm going on YouTube trying to find footage and stuff like that. But it was incredible, you know. And you know, Scott, as Viv will tell you, Scott's like, well, maybe we don't need to play such. I said, Scott, it's the 40th anniversary. We're doing the album in its entirety from start to finish.
Good.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You wrote it. You're involved in it. Let's do it. You know, yeah, celebrate. And it was amazing. It was great. It really was. You know.
Oh, that's
excellent.
Yeah, I did the same thing in the 30th anniversary of Holy Diver. I was like, Viv, we got to play this record. It's an important record, and you know, you gotta really get into this. We gotta play this in its entirety. And then he was like, "Go fuck yourself." That's the difference.
We played plenty of that record, though.
We do.
Yeah.
So I guess we're back over to Butch if you're done, Ricky.
But I have to go back to the Black Rose thing because Viv had mentioned it before, and then obviously Ricky just talking about it now. Back to the Gary Moore thing. Got to Give It Up. If people again aren't familiar with that record and aren't familiar with Gary Moore very much, the second solo and Got to Give It Up, where Phil is doing his thing.
I hear you.
That doesn't make you almost. I mean, it literally to this day, as many times as I've heard it, it does make me tear up. His solo is so
it's amazing.
emotional.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Did you, Butch? I know I know you love the Lizzy statistics. Did you know that Gary Moore and Eric Bell grew up 2 streets away from each other in Belfast?
I did not know that.
Wow.
Yeah, Gary grew up in Bread Street, and no, I can't remember the street that Eric grew up in, but it was 2 streets away from where Gary grew up in.
Wow.
In East Belfast, yeah.
Oh my God, no. That thank you though. That's more knowledge.
And we now have a mural in East Belfast of famous people from East Belfast. So you've got T.S. Lewis and you've got Van de Man, you've got Gary Moore, but whoever painted it in typical Northern Ireland fashion has painted Gary playing the guitar left-handed.
Oh,
Have you seen it, Viv?
No,
have you been back? Have you seen it?
No.
Aye. It's on Newton Ards Road. It's a lovely mural, but Gary's playing left-handed.
but you know what? That's what Americans do here with Eddie Van Halen. Is they'll do something and he's playing lefty. Like, what picture did you see when you were doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What?
But
You
Ricky,
paint this
don't
from a
all,
mirror or what?
Ricky, don't all you Protestants play guitar left hand?
Apparently so. I gotta tell us one funny story. There's a lot of murals in Belfast. I'm not getting too political. And I ever told you this, Beth? This is a true story. So there's a lot of murals all over Belfast. And when the Troubles were kicking off, they were all very, very paramilitary and very, very political. So when the peace process kicked in, they decided they'd celebrate Belfast culture, the Titanic and great artists that came from Belfast and stuff like that. So they got a lot of the guys to repaint the murals in peacetime. And there was a problem with a lot of the street painters because a lot of the guys came in and said, okay, you want us to repaint the murals. You want us to cover these great artists and these great writers that came from Belfast. The only problem is, do you know anybody that can do portraits? Because we've never painted anybody without a balaclava over the face before. Did you hear that? That's a true story.
Oh dear.
Much is gonna be okay over there.
Oh, God.
Aye.
Wow.
Good.
Well, you know what? It's my turn, right?
Yes, it is.
So I'm gonna ask now that Ricky just said that, and I did not know that. I have a question for Ricky and Viv,
All
because
right.
knowing that they both came from Belfast, where Gary Moore is from, did you guys live anywhere near where he grew up?
Nope.
Not at all.
Closer than Viv. Viv's from Lisburn, which is just outside Belfast. I'm from a wee town called Dundonald,
Okay.
which is about a mile and a half away from where Gary grew up.
Jesus.
Mm.
Oh God, if you guys could understand. But I will ask Viv this back to the whole, because of the Gary Moore thing and his gateway for me. So Viv, you had to pick one Gary Moore record. Which record would you pick as your favorite?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Dirty Fingers. Yeah.
There you go. That's all I want. My life is complete right now.
All
It's
right.
the same record that you turned me on to when I was 15. So thank you. I don't have to say anything else. I'm not going to give my number one. I'm done.
Number
A
one.
lot of that is
What
Dark
about
Light.
your number one? We need
Nope.
it. Come on.
Nope. Viv just made me happy. That's all I needed to hear. I'm
I
done.
bet
Next.
it's Jailbreak. I bet your number one is
No,
Jailbreak.
it's not.
I bet it is.
No, it's not. Even
bet it
though
is.
Have number one, or we're gonna.
I'm giving you my number one.
All right.
As much as I love Jailbreak, and definitely as I've got. Shut up! What the fuck, Andy?
Oh, you make me laugh. I love
Of
you.
course I do. Most people, anyone that's a Lizzy fan loves Emerald. It's a beyond classic. Honestly, I almost like Warriors better than Emerald at this point. There's something about that song. It's fuck yeah, but what I don't know where I could never find it on your cassette. I don't know where it is.
You made fun of me. You went on that whole fucking rant
Yes.
about this being out of order, and now you're telling me you like it like this?
No, I don't like it like that. But if I wanted to
That
hear
is-
Warriors,
If that is not the definition of a cunt, I don't know what is.
No, I'm not saying that I like your order. I'm saying if you gave me that cassette and I wanted to hear Warriors, I wouldn't know where to go because I know where it is on
Just
the real
fucking
record.
read the liners. You just-
I want to go right to the side, the last song on the first side. That's where Warriors is supposed to be, not in the middle of wherever the fuck your bargain basement fucking cassette is. That's
99
fucking
cents.
wrong.
Goodwill.
Enough on that cassette. Let's move along.
Oh, he's the moderator. You just got done with the moderator, Butch. You just got
I'm gonna remember that on Monday. So my number one, and again, like I've said before, really serious, it could have been any of these records. Today, this is my number one. And this number one right now because Viv is on it on this show here. I'm picking Thunder and Lightning as my number one because it's 1983 And 1983 was a tremendous year for 15-year-old Butch Jones. I got to find Vivian Campbell earlier in the year with Stand Up and Shout, which taught me pick harmonics, which I told Viv about that. Thank you for teaching me to pick harmonics, and you didn't know you did it. And then later in the year, I finally heard this with John Sykes, and Viv and Sykes are always going to be linked for me as two of my all-time complete favorite guitar players on the planet. And Thunder and Lightning, starting with Thunder and Lightning, that riff, it again, a record that I had no idea what was on it, but you hear that riff, the opening riff, and you're like, oh, the tension that it builds, you're like, oh, where the fuck is this going? And then it comes in, and then Scott does his solo, which is cool. Wharton does his solo, which is cool. And then all of the tension builds up and builds up and builds up. And then they let John Sykes loose to the world, and he goes ballistic. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And from where that starts, and then honestly, for me, one of the things I didn't really think about at the time, and then, obviously Phil dying in 86, and then you go back and you think about it, it's like, was he trying to tell us something with Heart Attack, the last song on the record, and talking about, Mama, I'm dying, and Heart Attack, and then the record ends, and that's the end of Thin Lizzy's studio? You're like, what the fuck is he a poet? Was he a prophet? He's talking about his demise. It's like, it was too much to comprehend. But it was from the intro to Thunder and Lightning to the ending of Heart Attack and everything that's awesome in the beginning. It is literally the greatest. And anyone can fight me online. I'm more than happy to debate this with you. You give me another farewell album for any band that tops Thin Lizzy's Thunder and Lightning. A band that's like, okay, we're making this record and this is it. And they go out on a complete high note.
Yeah.
I feel like Poison's Native Tongue was
No.
Well, Richie Kotzen's on that. So that's cool though. Kotzen's on that.
Yeah, but it's still Poison.
I don't think of it as Poison. I just think it's Richie Kotzen on.
All right. Now the Poison, that's another topic, another show. Andrew.
Butch, we played Cold Sweat on that show as well. We did Black Rose for the first time since I've been in Lizzy, and that was another one where I went, why haven't we been playing this for the last 8 years?
It's such a great live song.
Yeah, it's killer.
You're killing me, Ricky.
No, it's killing me, man. I was off there to fucking learn all the words and make sure I don't fuck them up.
I guess we're gonna move over to Danny if you're done, Butch.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Danny, where'd you go? There you are, Danny.
All right, I'll try to be quick because I do have some questions for Ricky and Vivian and all that. So,
okay.
So my favorite Lizzy album is totally something like personal. Like since I'm a teenager, since I was a teenager, every time like something bad's happened in my life, like anything, breakup, family member dying, problem with kids, whatever it is, I always go back and listen to Nightlife. And it's just because like there's some songs on there that are really like so well crafted. Like Nightlife, the song is amazing. It's Only Money. Philomena is like filled with emotion. So
Philomena is a great song, beautiful song.
Yeah, so for me, like it's almost like it's not something you really should discuss with people, but like every time like something goes bad in my life, like I'm gonna go on and put on Nightlife, and every time it makes me feel better and all that. So personal choice, not a popular choice, but music is a personal thing, and that's the choice for me. So first question is for Ricky. Ricky, I've been a fan of your work since the Almighty. Like I love the Soul Destruction album.
Thank you.
And I was like kind of like super happy you were selected to play with Black Star Riders, because to me it's like a continuity of that Lizzy vibe, like the way that the songs are and all that. and you just released a brand new album, you know, following Another State of Grace, like from Black Star Writer. My favorite song on this one is Poison Heart, which I think that you wrote.
I did.
So I was listening to your new album with my family, and like my wife is a huge Iron Maiden fan, and then we realized that one of the cover, you did an acoustic cover of Wrathchild, which is like she's been listening to it like all day long.
Oh,
so
wow!
Why is the selection like? If I thinking Ricky Warwick, I'm not seeing like Maiden, right? So
those first two Maiden albums with Di'Anno, man, are spiritual to me. I mean, they're just. I love Maiden, and they were very good to the Almighty back. They took us on tour with them a bunch of times. We were managed by Rod Smallwood for a long time, and those guys are great to us and still friends to this day. But those first two Maiden albums with Di'Anno, Running Free, you know, and Wrathchild and The Trooper, it's just to me, Di'Anno just. Bruce is amazing. Di'Anno just had an edge. Again, it's something that Phil has in abundance. He has this aggression, this edge that appeals to me. I don't know why. I just like that edginess, and Di'Anno had that. And it's just a song that Wrathchild is a song that I've always loved. And I thought, you know, can we break this down? Could we do an acoustic version of it and just see if it works? And you know, we got away with it, I think, by the skin of our teeth.
Dude, it's amazing cover.
Thank you.
All right, question for Vivian. You know, like I saw you live, like actually Holy Diver tour in Montreal, and I think you were young, like pretty much my age back then. And I'm still trying to learn the solo of Stand Up and Shout, which after 40 years I still can't play right. And in my opinion, honestly, in my opinion, like the best heavy metal solo ever is Stand Up and Shout. So my question for you, like I know you talk about influence by Thin Lizzy and all that, like, but how much like of your phrasing and solos have been influenced by Gary Moore and Scott Gorham and those guys?
Quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, that was really the meat and potatoes of it for me. Were the Lizzy guitar players. I think I probably took more from Robbo than Gorham. And as soon as I heard Gary Moore, it's like that was it, you know. So I took a lot from Gary Moore. I mean, I pretty much just ripped off Gary Moore. Every time I went to play a guitar solo in my late teens or early 20s, like how would Gary Moore play this solo? I just try and channel Gary Moore, you know, because that's kind of how it is. But you know, after a while, you can step back from it and you realize that you kind of develop your own style, but it's a very unconscious thing because you're deliberately trying to be someone else. You know, I was trying to be Gary Moore in the way. Obviously I never was and never will. And that was probably a good thing because my other influences came through, you know, Rory Gallagher, like I say, Brian Robertson, a little bit of Michael Schenker. When I heard Eddie Van Halen for the first time, that obviously had an influence on every guitar player of that generation, you know. So all these little things, they kind of seep in and you unconsciously kind of put them out there. But I just remember like back then recording the Holy Diver album and stuff. I wasn't trying to play like Viv Campbell. I was trying to play like somebody else, you know, and that's kind of, I think that's par for the course.
But you know what though? I gotta tell you though, you were trying to play like somebody else, but you didn't realize that you were being you. And the little black kid that was 15 years old in New York was like, I love this fucking guy. So you didn't realize you were doing it, but you were doing it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean that's how you kind of stumble into your style. You know, you fall between the cracks of what it is you're aiming to achieve and where it is you're coming from, and somewhere down there is where you find your own thing. So
I gotta agree with Butch because, you know, before I knew and Viv and was playing with him, you know, I was a guitar player too back in the day, and I would, you know, I remember, you know, trying to learn songs off of record and learning like, you know, the string skipping thing in Rainbow in the Dark, you know, which something that I still do to this day. and when I play leads, I don't play a lot as much as I used to, but when I do, that is basically in every fucking guitar solo that I do. So when I listen to like early Gary Moore stuff, and I hear something Viv picked up from Gary Moore that I picked up from Viv, you know what I mean? It's like, wait, I do that. Wait, what is? Wait, okay, so that's where it came from, But it's I kind of feel like, and I don't want to say, because I know Viv's done blues records and stuff, but he's mostly known as the rock guy amongst guitar nerds. He's the rock guy, and I feel like he's the evolution of Gary Moore in the rock sense. Whereas when Gary got to a point where he was kind of bored with rock, he went off in this blues direction, and he just was a blues guy till he left. You know what I mean? And I feel like Viv's kind of that guy who evolved. And I know he doesn't do it very much with Leppard, but I see him when he's noodling. I see him when he's, and Ricky could probably attest to this too. Like, yeah, I see him when he's noodling. I see him when he's fucking around and when he's making mistakes and when he's being human. You know what I mean? Right. And he's probably personally one of the greatest, if not the greatest guitarist I've ever played with. But he's also got that vibe of a Roy Gallagher or that Irish UK thing that it stopped, you know what I mean? And it's got to evolve with somebody, and I feel like he's the guy who's taking it to the next level to whoever is going to pick it up and bring it. Certainly not me, because I'm a half drunk singer, so it doesn't.
Steve, Andy went there, so I have to go here. I'm sorry, so I'll get to it quick, Steve.
I just want to make sure my check clears. That's all.
Is PayPal so good, right?
Wait, yeah. Just tell Vinny to send me whatever's left in the account.
Got it.
like I've said before, Viv was the gateway for me with Gary, but there was and this is what Andy was saying. Gary was, to me, I call Gary a pillar. He's one of the founding stones of guitar playing of that era. And then there was there's three young guys that came from that have always been heroes of mine, will always be heroes of mine, but they were the younger guys that learned from Gary and took it into the 80s and made it exciting, where Gary was still the angry guy of the 70s and coming into the 80s. So there was Viv, which is my number one, John Sykes, and John Norum. You three guys.
I mean, Norum.
Don't even fuck with me. Don't even fuck. Please.
I mean, I gotta jump in here, and Viv, block your ears, right? Because I don't want to give you any compliments, man. Because
because I'm a Catholic.
Viv,
it's hidden from me.
Viv has a feel.
Yeah.
Unique to guitar players like Kossoff.
Yep.
And those guys, and Viv has that, and you can't teach that, and you just have it, and Viv has that in abundance, and that's what makes Vivian Campbell a great fucking guitar player.
I mean, you don't want to have a conversation with more than 5 minutes, but you listen to him play guitar, great.
I will say this one thing. I will say I have to critique him because I'm here and Steve's getting pissed. But I have to say this to Viv. Like I said before, and I told you in person, you taught me pick harmonics. You don't do it that much anymore. And I wish you did, especially with the last in line. Obviously, with the last in line, the Leppard thing is a whole nother thing. But the last in line thing, you don't do the pitch harmonics as much as you used to.
It hurts his fingers.
I think Viv's froze up down there.
He froze up on me.
We lost him. But,
yeah, I think because he cuts his hand a lot when he cuts bread when he's making food. So I think we lost him. We lost him,
unfortunately.
I think he signed out. It's like, this is too much.
We're giving him all these compliments, and he's like, he's not hearing them.
I know.
So Danny,
Thank God, Ricky.
Danny, do you have any more?
No, I just want to say thank you, Andrew and Vivian for last in line. I got a teenager boy at home, he was playing the riff to Already Dead the other day, and I think cool. I think that's soon enough he'll be the one teaching me the solo for Stand Up and Shout. So anyway, I love Black Star Riders. I love Last in Line. I think it's the kind of new wave of classic rock, hard rock, metal. I don't know, but it's all working for me. Thank you.
Thank
you, brother.
So we're back to Robin Mason, Amazing Mason.
Yes, it's me. So, I mean, we already talked about everything. I'm gonna pick Black Roses, my number one.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, Toughest Street in Town and Gotta Give It Up are just, I mean, like I said, the first thing I said was like Jailbreak, everybody assumes that's gonna be that. So I try to stay away from
Okay.
that as, my number one.
Yep.
I just, yeah.
That's it?
No, like I'm just trying to like,
Here he comes. Coming
Yeah.
back.
like I mean, I had like the luxury of like, doing a bunch of shows and working in like Ireland and being able to walk from like Temple Bar over to the Phil statue. And I did that like so many times, and it was like, I love doing that. That was like one of my favorite things after the show, like walk down there before bus call. And
There's a Vivian Campbell pop.
I'm gonna leave this
Nice.
here for when he gets back on.
I have some of those. I have some of those at the store. I got a couple of Viv Campbell pops at the Rock.
Save
I
one
don't
for me,
have,
Steve.
I don't have a Viv Campbell pop.
I don't have one either. Save one for me, Steve.
You
Okay, I
can
will.
talk to him. You can talk to him if you like.
Well, should I ask the pop the question until he comes back?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Andrew's gonna.
Well, so like basically, Andrew, I'm sorry I don't have any questions from you because I already know you and you've already, so I don't
When
have
you were
any.
in No Justice,
All right. That's fine. Go
I
ahead,
don't
talk
have
to
any
Viv.
questions for you, Andrew. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's fine.
I bet you Viv's real happy about that Union Jack behind him and that
oh,
Funkoid.
right. Oh,
Poor Viv's having.
So, and Ricky, honestly, you already answered like my questions like tenfold that I had for you, so I can't.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So I
you so
can't
much.
really ask you anything new unless there's something
It's
you want
okay.
to share more.
No, I
before
mean, thank you. I mean, it's to me, like I said,
There he is. He's back.
Well, I was
It's-
just gonna use this.
He's
Right.
teasing
I was just saying, Viv, I bet you're real happy about that Union Jack behind you and that Funkoid thing there going on there, mate.
You know what, Ricky? I think it makes me play guitar left-handed. Just saying. I've been starting to notice every time I pick up the guitar, I'm kind of, it's a slow process where you morph, you know.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, mate. I hear you.
So Robin, now that Viv's back, do you have a final question for Viv?
if Ricky's finished, I can.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robin.
Okay, and for Vivian, all I have to say is like, holy cow, like that's all. Holy cow about like your career and everything, and I don't want to get into like everything, and there's probably a bunch of questions I could ask you. So the only thing I'm going to ask you is, and I think most people on here are going to get annoyed with me, but I'm just going to ask you anyway. What was it like to have Metallica do a cover
that's
of your
cool.
song
That's a great.
from
That's
your
a
old
great.
band?
It was very validating, you know.
Yeah, I want to hear you.
We keep losing you, buddy.
New Hampshire.
Here, call me. Here, I'm gonna call you.
Call and translate with the pop.
No, I'll just put him on FaceTime.
There
Okay.
you go.
Because I just really, but I mean, everybody's going to ask other questions, so I'm going to ask that question.
That's a great question. That's a great
Good.
question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
So many options. Hold on, answer your question. Here you go.
Excuse me.
Oh, there he is.
I'm surprised he answered.
I'm the only friend he has. I had to answer.
Oh, you're back on. Oh, look. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
3-7.
Oh yeah, so Metallica, it was brilliant. Hang on, I'm gonna hang up with this asshole.
Oh, come on, I'm talking.
It was a
Talk about
pack,
my
just in
feelings.
case your video.
So yeah, I mean, it was very validating in a way because I remember hearing a cassette tape way back in the 80s of Metallica when they were first starting out, and they opened their show with a song Bread Fan,
Yeah.
Welsh three-piece band called Budgie. And in Sweet Savage, we tried to do obscure covers when we were first starting out, and then slowly we started writing our own music, and we'd push out the covers. But we still always played a few obscure covers. But one of the songs we did when we first started, Bread Fan by Budgie, and we opened our show with it. What a strange coincidence. You know, this band from San Francisco is opening their show with the same obscure cover that we open our show with. But that's pretty bizarre. And Haller, you know, Remy, the bass player singer in Sweet Savage, had this real gruff kind of that sounds a lot like James Hetfield. So it was great validation in a way that, you know, obviously Metallica were listening to a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal. They were listening to a lot of Diamond Head and stuff like that, and Praying Mantis or whatever. But obviously they were listening to this little band from Belfast, and so
Right back.
it was amazing. I mean, we were all very, very flattered that this huge global superstar band would cover a wee song that we wrote when we were in our mid-teens.
Nice.
It's awesome. And I just like, again, thank you guys. Andrew, even thank you, you know, appreciate it.
Cool.
Of course.
And thank you guys, like,
you still don't have any questions for me though, Robin?
No, I have no questions for you. I'm sorry.
Not even like what my favorite color is or anything.
What is your favorite color?
Fuck you, that's my
question
favorite
for you
color.
at the very end of the show.
Yeah, I could ask you after. That's later. I'll ask
You
you.
don't want to
Yes,
ask
sir,
me
yeah.
out or anything? You don't want to ask me out? No.
Right. So we're running a little long on the episode, so I'll give my number one album. And are you done, Robin? I'm sorry, I'm going to talk over you.
Like I said, I could be here all night asking questions about things, but that was my question.
Your main question. So I'm going to go with something that maybe people get mad at me, but the one album I listen to the most, and I still listen to it all the time in the record shop, is Chinatown. I just love that album. I love We Will Be Strong. It's like the meaning behind it. It's a song that always picks me up if there's crappy times around, sort of echo what Dennis was talking about some of their other music. Killer on the Loose, Genocide. Just love that about the Native Americans and the Buffalo, and that's my number one album, I guess. Nobody wants to hear from me. I'm just a record shop owner anyhow.
No, come on, we love it.
Hey, Andy, Snowy's back.
Tuned in to hear Vivian and Richard and Ricky, and I guess my question for Viv is, how are you doing during this whole pandemic? Is a question I ask a lot of the guests we have on the show. And what are you doing with the extra time, or any projects and anything you'd like to talk about to wrap up the show, Viv?
It's interesting. I'd much rather be working because I love my work, either with Leppard or with Last in Line.
Yeah.
Or even my little occasional stunt gigs, like my few months with Thin Lizzy.
River Dogs.
Yeah, it's hard to be in so many bands, but I do miss work, and I really, really miss playing. But I've been using the time at home. I've never spent this much time at home since I was a kid. So
I think there's a lot of us that are going to echo that one. Yeah.
So it's been interesting. I've been trying to make the best of it. I've been doing a lot of driving instruction. I've gotten to become a really good driver. So if any of you are planning a bank job, and you need to get it right, I'm your man. Okay, so just let me know. I want an equal cut though.
So
hey, I think the guy that was driving the getaway car had an accent.
So
I know who that is.
So you're driving getaway cars. Are you going to start driving some race cars, or like Brian Johnson too?
I've been tracking a lot. Yeah, I've been to rally school a bunch.
Okay.
So I'm really getting it. You know, there's something. It's not something I just picked up. I've always been into cars and driving up the road much. So I'm making the best of not being able to tour.
Yeah,
just on the track a lot. So it's all fun.
I'm a fan of fast cars and fast music myself, so I can totally relate with that. And I guess to wrap up my portion of the show, and Ricky, anything you'd like to add? The same kind of questions I just asked him. How are you doing with the pandemic?
Just echoing everything Viv said. Much as it sucks to not be on the road, it's nice to be here for the birthdays and the Thanksgivings and all the stuff that we usually miss. And I've been productive. I've obviously put the album out.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of promo for that. We've written the next Black Star Riders album. We're hoping to get in the studio to record that in the end of August here in Los Angeles. And just trying to stay positive, productive as ever. Much as I've loved being at home, I'm ready to get back out there.
Excellent. And of course, I mentioned earlier that, you know, that you got a couple videos out for the new album also, correct?
Yeah, we did a couple of videos. We shot 2 videos out in the Joshua Tree Desert back in August.
Okay.
For the first 2 singles from the record, and yeah, I mean, you know, I'm proud of this record. I did it with Keith Nelson. Keith was a guitar player in Buck Cherry for many years, and he co-produced it with me. And yeah, you know, it's done great. I'm really proud of it, and I just wish I could get out and play it live, but I'll have to wait.
yeah, definitely. We'll look forward to trying to catch you on the road when this stuff it's gradually blowing over this big black cloud. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And anybody else have a closing statement tonight? I guess I could give this closing statement to Butch, since he's the #1 fanboy of Thin Lizzy in the room tonight. And I hope that Butch is happy that he accepted the invite to come on tonight.
Well, Ricky is Irish, so I don't know if I really beat him, but for an American, yeah, it's Lizzy is the shit. And I fly that flag very, very proudly and very, very high, and always talk about them and try to turn people on to them, because they're a very important band that the masses don't know about, and it's such a fucking shame that people don't know more about Lizzy. I run into people all the time, and we start talking about music, and they ask me who my favorite band is, and I say Thin Lizzy, and they're like, I don't think I know them. I'm like, you do. And you mentioned Boys Are Back in Town. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, I know you do. But Lizzy is just an incredible band that Lizzy, listen, in America, Lizzy is the band that there is nothing to not like about them, except that you haven't been exposed to them.
Yeah.
Once you hear a couple of songs, you're like, these guys are fucking great. It's like, yeah, I fucking know. But the radio plays, you know, the same 3 songs.
Yeah.
And that's great. At least it's that. And I'm glad that you see the stuff in commercials and stuff too. But having Viv and having Ricky carry the Irish flag for that, man, it means to, like I jokingly said before, for the little black boy from New York, it means a lot to me. And it's not Lizzy. Listen, let me just say this right now. And in the world that we live in, with the whole black and white thing and race thing, it's just complete bullshit. It has nothing to do. My love for Lizzy has nothing to do with Fela not being black. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the songs. And as I got older and found more and more of the stuff and found it and loved it, immersed into it, then it was maybe, okay, I understand his story now, the Black Irishman, and how he was, you know, an oddball there and did his thing and made people love him. That's fantastic. But still, for me, it never made me like him more because he was black. He was just a great songwriter, a great bass player, a great front man. And like I said earlier in the show, it means the world to me that I met his mother, and for his mother to tell me that I reminded her of her son is something that it floors me every time I talk about it. It really, really does. And it hurts me so much that I never got a chance to see him. You know, to talk to Ricky and Viv that are playing the songs, and that I've met Sykes in '89 and '94, and the times I met him, and him telling me stories about being in Lizzy in '83. Lizzy is the most underappreciated band, as far as I'm concerned, in hard rock history. They're the most underappreciated, overlooked. You know the song, you might not know it's them. It just fucking just go to YouTube and put in Thin Lizzy and click whatever songs come up, and you'll be hooked.
Yeah.
That's it.
Excellent.
That's great. That's great.
Well, I thank everyone for coming on tonight. Butch, Andrew, Robin, Danny, Rick, and Vivian.
Thank you.
It was an honor, and I hope everyone will take a moment and subscribe to the channel, hit like so you know what's going on. And we have another special episode coming on this week where we actually cover the new wave of British heavy metal. We have John Gallagher from Raven, Brian from Diamond Head, and Tony Dolan from Venom Inc., and Steve Grimmett from the Mighty Grim Reaper going to be joining us, and that'll be coming up on Friday. And thanks everyone for tonight and the Rock Fantasy Files, and this is an honor to have you guys in my 1980s living room with my blacklight poster.
Thank you.
All right,
You're
guys.
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well,
Safe.
good to see